Sometimes I feel so sad, watching this generation die before my eyes. They're so desensitized from what is right, they cannot discern what is wrong. They've been misled since they were born. They just don't understand the meaning of it all. They've been lied to for so long by the God of this world.
Hey folks, this is Quentin with The Road Less Traveled. Today I'm going to speak a little bit on symbolism in the occult and a lot of what we see in movies, music, things like that. I'm not going to get so much into music today, but I'm going to talk about what we've seen in the movies, particularly the Harry Potter films. I don't need to watch the Harry Potter films to know what they're about. It's quite obvious they're about witchcraft and sorcery. And folks, if that's all these movies were based upon, they would be wrong. But as we'll talk about today, there's a lot more to the Harry Potter films than just witchcraft and sorcery. There's also a lot of occultic symbolism in there, and indoctrination and conditioning. Now my son is 21 and my daughter is 18. They're no longer the young children they used to be. But at the time these Harry Potter films came out, they were young. I was a young Christian in the faith. I knew enough about the Bible and Christianity to know that I did not want my children watching these movies based upon the mere fact that they were about witchcraft and sorcery. Now recently I stopped by a brother's fellowship and we were helping out do some work on their church building, and we took a little break and went inside the fellowship hall, and I was quite surprised when I was looking at the bookshelf, folks, and found the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling up on the shelves. And I brought it up to the brother, and he was actually surprised that I found anything wrong with the Harry Potter book series or the movies. And I didn't go into a long discussion with him, but I did tell him, basically that the series is based upon witchcraft and sorcery, and that's enough, knowing what we know in the Bible. And I'm going to share some of that scripture with you right now. Here in Deuteronomy chapter 18, starting at verse 10, it says, "There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee." Now I know that some of you watching might not know what an abomination is, and just so you come to a good understanding of what abomination is to God, I'm going to give you the definition of abomination according to the 1812 Webster's Dictionary. Abomination, noun, extreme hatred, a detestation, the object of detestation, a common signification in Scripture. Hence, defilement, pollution, in a physical sense, or evil doctrines and practices, which are moral defilements. Idols and idolatry are called abominations. The Jews were an abomination to the Egyptians, and the sacred animals of the Egyptians were an abomination to the Jews. The Roman army is also called the abomination of desolation. In short, whatever is an object of extreme hatred is called an abomination. Now, another great verse that shows us exactly what God thinks about sorcery and God's judgment upon it, among other things, is Revelation 21, verse 8. "But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death." So folks, just due to the fact alone that Harry Potter is based upon witchcraft and sorcery, knowing that witchcraft and sorcerers are an abomination to God, and he will cast them into the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. No parent in their right mind should want their children watching this stuff. This is indoctrination of youth into witchcraft, And it's a conditioning of their minds to accept the symbolism that's in these movies and in preparation for something. We're going to get into that.
Now, one of the defining features that Harry Potter has is this scar that he totes around on his forehead in the shape of a lightning bolt. Now, a lightning bolt is a symbol that's widely used throughout Satanism and the occult. Now, I want to talk a little bit about that symbol now and the significance that it has to the occult and the origins. Now, here we have a pentagram with a lightning bolt in the center. Now, you may wonder what the popularity of this symbol actually is. Right here is a photo of Antoine LaVey. And if you don't know who he is, folks, he is the founder of the Church of Satan. And as you can see, hanging around his neck there is that pentagram with the lightning bolt down the center. And I'm sure it's no surprise to most of y'all that a group like AC/DC would have this symbol in their logo, with songs like Hell's Bells, and that they are on a highway to hell. And who could forget about the classic rock group Kiss, with songs like God of Thunder or Heaven's on Fire? This group has been the center of controversy throughout their time. Now, I remember growing up as a kid, I was told that KISS stood for Kids in Satan's Service. And what more could a rebellious little teenager want than to upset mom and dad by listening to a group like this? I know I did. Now, Ace Frehley has often defended his logo, stating that it has nothing to do with the Nazi SS. And you know what? I'll give Ace the benefit of the doubt. I don't believe it has anything to do with the Nazi SS symbol, but rather it has to do with occultic symbolism, just like the Nazi SS symbol does. And we're going to talk about that coming up, the origins of the lightning bolt. Now, as a rebellious teenager, another one of my favorite groups was a group called Slayer. Now, Slayer don't even try to hide their Satanism with their pentagrams and their lightning bolt logos, and songs like Angel of Death, Mandatory Suicide, and South of Heaven. Slayer is a source of good, wholesome family entertainment. And now for the self-proclaimed Antichrist superstar, Marilyn Manson himself. Now, watching Marilyn Manson is kind of like watching a circus sideshow freak. There's a lot of controversy that surrounds Marilyn Manson, and I believe it's with design. Brian Warner is a brilliant businessman, and he understands that the more controversy he stirs up, the more sales he has, the more popularity he's going to gain, and the more money he's going to make. Now, there's one controversy that he probably wishes he could distance himself from, and that is the Columbine Controversy, as a lot of folks out there have placed the blame on Marilyn Manson's music for inspiring the Columbine high school shooting, as the shooters were big fans of Marilyn Manson. And another close admirer of Marilyn Manson is Antoine LaVey, the Church of Satan founder, who also ordained, for lack of better words, Marilyn Manson as a minister of the Church of Satan. Und der Schutzstaffel, also commonly referred to as the Nazi SS troops, were one of Adolf Hitler's largest paramilitary forces of World War II. Just the mere mention of their name would invoke fear into the Jews of the time. And it's thought that they're responsible for the majority of the approximate 6 million deaths of the Jews during the Holocaust. You see, the hatred for God's people runs deep. Now, you may ask, what is the ties of lightning to Satan or to the Bible? Well, Jesus says in Luke chapter 10, verse 18, as he was speaking to his disciples, he said, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Isaiah 14:12. Now let's talk a little bit about how Harry Potter's lightning scar could indeed condition a young generation to wearing a mark upon their forehead. Let's take a look at Scripture and see what Scripture says. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Now here's the kicker, folks. Window decals seem to be something quite popular these days. Folks like to put them in their back windows of their vehicles, and they identify with them. And the Harry Potter crowd, they identify with theirs. As you can see here, this one here is made up of different symbols found throughout the movie. And any one of y'all, I think by looking at this, could determine that this here spells love. Now, would you like to try another one? If you want to take a moment and guess, go ahead and pause it. This one here spells always. I think you're getting the hang of it. Now, playing by occultic rules, which is hiding the meaning of something in plain sight, can you guess what this one says? This one's a little bit more difficult, so I'm going to give you assistance and give you one letter at a time. Using the snake, they form the letter S. Using the Deathly Hallows symbol, they form the letter A. Using the bat, they form the letter T. Using the witch's hat, they form the letter A. So this last one's a little bit tougher. They say the number 9 3/4 stands for the 9 3/4 platform in the movie. Why did they use the number 9 3/4? And what does it play into this? Well, to get the answer, we're going to have to use some mathematics and some spelling. So the large whole number we have here is 9, so we're going to spell out the number 9. Now you notice the word 9 has 4 letters in it. Now using their equation 3/4, we're going to take 3/4 of those letters away, leaving the first letter because the number 9 precedes the 3/4. Now using occultic rules, we put all these together, and what do we have? Well, look, boys and girls, using Harry Potter symbols, we've put together a subliminal message pointing to the true force at work behind our books and movies: Satan.
Folks, thanks for joining me here at The Road Less Traveled. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I want to encourage you to do so. Be sure to hit that notification bell and keep up with all the latest videos. God bless y'all.
Stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old past. Where is the good way? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. Be thou instructed, O Jerusalem, lest my soul depart from thee, lest I make thee desolate, a land not inhabited. To whom shall I speak and give warning, that they may hear? Behold, their ear is uncircumcised, and they cannot hearken. To whom shall I speak and give warning, that they may hear? Behold, the word of Yahweh unto them is a reproach, they have no delight in it. Stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old past. Where is the good way?